Oh man, we're back. Did you miss me? Did you guys miss me? I know you did. I know you did. I missed doing this. I missed being here with you guys. But it's an incredible thing to be back. You know, there was a lot of moving parts of my life that I needed attention, and finally I was able to get everything back under control. So here we are, Transformation Tuesday, Healthy Trinity Show. We are online, we are live, and here we go. All right, so we are live. Today's show, I mean, first of all, where have I been? Do I owe you an explanation? I mean, I could go into it. Maybe we just get on with the show. I don't know. Now, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts in my life. And there's one thing that I really, a concept that kept coming back to me that I want to share with you guys before we get started is that life is dynamic. Life is fluid. We have to be able to correct course. We have to be able to pivot. We have to be able to ride the wave. If we don't do that, if you're rigid, if you're set in your ways, if it's one way or no way, or what is it, my way or the highway, you're going to have a very tough time in life. You need to learn to correct course. And I think a great word is pivot. We need to be able to pivot. So sometimes we have to find a path that is solid for us, a foundation that is solid for us, to be able to pivot towards. And if we don't do that, we're going to pick up a lot of bad habits along the way. We're going to lose a lot of our good habits along the way, because I always say our bad habits are never far behind us. So we always have to keep a very diligent, cognizant view of where those bad habits are, hopefully behind us. So I've learned in the past to just correct course, just to pivot. I've learned that, and I learned it the hard way. So today on the show, let's get going. Today on the show, we've got Mike Krysko. This guy's transformation is one of those that you look and go, holy, I didn't say it today. Maybe I'm trying not to cuss anymore. Holy crap. Wow, this guy is amazing. Look at all that hard work. Look at all that effort. Look at all that dedication and that passion. Those are the things. That's what it takes, man. You don't just do it the easy way. There's no easy way about this. There's easier ways. There's simpler ways. But there's no easy way to it. Okay? So before we bring Mike on, I'm going to show you his transformation video. And as always, when you come in, this is an interactive show. Say hello. Tell us where you're coming in from. Any questions, any comments, anything you want to hear Mike talk about, put it in the chat. We'll bring it up live and we'll answer it. So I see we got Stephanie on, we got Melinda on, we got Tiffany on. Thank you guys for watching. But I got something special to show you guys right now. This is Mike. right, man. Mike is here, everybody. Let's say hello to Mike.
Hello.
Mike, thank you for joining us today on the Healthy Trinity Show and Transformation Tuesday. I felt this was a great way to get back in the saddle of things, man, and just wow.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to interacting with you in person. It's all been Facebook up until now. So.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I know. I think a couple months, right, at convention, we're all gonna link up and have a great time.
Yes.
But until then, man, you've got a great story to share. You've got something incredible on your hands that you've been working very hard on, becoming brand new, just making yourself over. Sometimes it's hard to put these transformations into words because you see what you see. You don't see behind the scenes. You don't see the hard work that has been put into it. I'm talking to everybody out there. You're not inside the person's head. It's hard to convey a message. So when somebody has a story that they can convey, to not only just say, look at me, I'm 100 pounds lighter, but when they say, look at me, my life is renewed, it's a whole nother level. And Mike, you've got one of those stories. So why don't you go ahead and share your story with everybody?
Okay, absolutely. So I'm actually going to back up a couple years ago. So I first was introduced to this program about 4 years ago, and coincidentally, I was working in the weight loss industry. So I have 8 years of being in weight loss. So my motto is we all know how to lose weight. It's really about giving it that focus, making it a priority in your life. And for me, I've always struggled with my own personal weight around emotional eating, and absolutely addicted to sugar. So my dream was always the next donut. And kind of like the doctor that can't heal themselves, even after working in the weight loss industry, I really hadn't put any mental energy in the seeing what I was going to be doing for the future. My goal was always to get to my goal weight so I could party again and eat whatever I want. And we all know it just doesn't work that way. So that's when I was introduced, and obviously I was working for a weight loss company. The business end of the company sounded amazing to me, but obviously would have been a conflict of interest. So fast forward to the fact that now that weight loss company, slowly digressing, and was eliminating positions, and I found myself unemployed for the first time. I've always been a workaholic, so it was devastating for me not to wake up and go somewhere every single day. And then I would say that's probably where the depression part, and it's all hand in hand for me. The depression set in. I relied on food. I started eating my feelings. And before I knew it, I was packing on weight. And again, stress eating. Now, fast forward to we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and you tell a stress eater you're in the middle of a global pandemic and you're going to be locked in your house next to your refrigerator.
Give me the Oreos.
It's usually not going to go well, right? Like,
no.
So me and Grubhub became best friends.
Oh yeah.
Through that time period. Yes. So I really was looking for, and actually I can still remember the day. So it actually was this time last year when I was getting invited to the pool parties, and I was already saying to myself, there's no way I'm going to that. And I had already given up on the entire summer. I had already written it off. I knew I was going to be as miserable as I was the summer before, when I couldn't even get up out of a chair because that's how heavy I was. I was 267 pounds. And you don't get that way, but because you hate food and you like to exercise, right? So
right.
I've really, really struggled holding myself accountable. And like you had mentioned earlier about pivoting through life, like that's what I hadn't been able to figure out. How do I pivot through life without having life become filled with excuses, right? Yeah. So the doctor put me on prednisone, so now I had a reason to eat. I'm in a pandemic, I have a reason to eat. So for me, there was always a long laundry list of excuses. So when I actually came across a Facebook video that with a girl named Dawn, and she was talking about her autoimmune disease going into remission with this great program. And I had just gotten back from the doctor's office, and I told the doctor, I'm falling apart. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I want to be checked out for everything. I want cancer. I want all kinds of tests. And something's definitely wrong with me. And he just
Yeah.
looked at me and said, you know what? Your body's telling you. What your body's telling you is it doesn't like what you're doing. So having seen that video, it reminded me like, oh wow, I totally forgot about this thing that I heard about 4 years ago. Like I completely was off my radar, reminded me about it. And I just decided, this is time when you're getting onto, for me, like I would worry about the simplest things. Like I remember having a backache and saying I needed to get down on the floor to stretch out. And just the act of getting down, I was petrified I wasn't going to be able to get back up. So
Wow.
that was a really, really desperate place for me. And again, since it's always tied to emotions,
Yeah.
it didn't take me long to realize that this program was so much more than just food, and that I really needed to do a lot more head work. And I also decided that to hold myself accountable, I wanted to share my journey on Facebook, and I wanted to share it with my friends and family because my thoughts at the time were, if I could just help one person that was feeling as desperate and as lonely and as abandoned and hopeless, um, that that would be the reward for me if I could just help one person do that.
Yeah.
So pretty much that's it. So I started at 267 pounds. I'm now down to 174. So just below the 100-pound mark. And my life is completely different. Like there's no way I could have predicted where I would be at right now. I'm in the best mental health of my life. I'm at my lowest adult weight ever, including my high school days.
Yeah.
And my bank account's growing, and
How about that?
I'm constantly waking up to text messages from clients telling me I could not have done this without you. And that is the biggest reward. So all
Absolutely.
finances aside, the reward is really in those text messages and seeing everybody else I know come to life.
Mike, it's funny that, when you talk about, you went from 267 pounds or it was to 176, it's 100 pounds. That in itself is a whole new life. Um, but the majority of your story doesn't even talk about weight. It didn't even talk about how, the benefits of being at a lower weight. You didn't even talk about what it felt like, how incredibly awesome it is to lose 100 pounds. And it's more, it's renewing, like I said, renewing your life. And you've done a great job at conveying that message to people that this is about a whole new life. And I tell you what, man, I hate the saying, it's a lifestyle. I hate that saying. I don't know why I hate it so much, because it's so cliche, because you hear so many different diets talk about a lifestyle when they're just diets. Diets don't help people in long term. Diets don't mentally help you cope with some of what you were dealing with, or emotional triggers, or food triggers. They don't help you with that, but this program does. So can you go into a little bit about, you talked about how this is much more than a diet.
Yeah.
How have you learned to not repeat the same mistakes? What is it that you've learned? What's going to keep you away from that? Going back to that lifestyle, going back to those old habits.
So for me, well, first of all, with our nutritional program, it is about the structure, and keeping to the structure, so that for me, anytime that I feel myself wavering, I always have that structure to rely on. But
Yeah.
if I'm being really honest, it's really about, I feel like that certain little buttons have been pushed in my brain that aren't going to be able to go back. I've been able to get my mind in a really good place, and for the first time in my life, I am confident that I'm not one pizza away from going back to my fat suit. So that alone, like, there's so much freedom in not having to worry about that anymore.
But
The
what
pro
makes you not worry? What makes you say, "Nah, I got this"? Is it just the structure? Is it more
it,
than that? What
well,
about the
no,
structure?
it's definitely more than that. So for me, it's about the community. So I am surrounded with a community of people. I remember, like, we have a mutual friend, Stephanie, right? And she's
Yeah,
watching. Hi, Stephanie.
yeah, I
But
remember.
so I can remember the first word she said to me, and I felt embraced.
Was it y'all?
Yeah, it did end. It did end with a yaw, and it's fun. It's funny, after talking to her, I end up having a southern accent. And I spent much time down there, but yeah. So, like, I can remember, I can her words meant so much to me, and she got me to a place where I felt like I finally had a voice.
Yeah.
So instead of sitting there and,
Mm,
in a place where I was hibernating and not living my life, now I can be free to live out loud, share it with other people. And I am, right, extremely confident, because my coach isn't going away. He's there
right,
forever,
right.
right? Michael and Dennis, they've been great. Stephanie's not going away. She's going to be in my life forever. So I am surrounded with people that are rooting me on, that I know aren't going to let me fail. And
Yeah,
quite honestly, like, over the last couple of weeks, I actually was, for the first time, in a place where I was really wavering.
yeah.
You may be able to tell, but I have no vision in my left eye right now. I have a cataract and got to wait 5 weeks, and I'm trying really hard not to squint at everybody.
He's
Uh,
winking at everybody.
in the past, that would have been the best excuse in the world to walk away from my structure. It would have
Hmm.
been the best reason to feel sorry for myself,
Yeah.
and start eating my feelings again. And
Mhm.
I don't have that desire. And after 47 weeks of being on a program, you'd think I'd be really bored. You think I'd still be, itching to go grab that donut, but I have no desire. Food has truly, truly, truly become about fueling my body, nourishing my body. And when we talk about lifestyle, like, if you have that mindset and you're looking at food that way, it's really hard for the feelings part of it to creep back in.
Right.
But
You disassociated that with
correct.
your feelings. You disassociated food from feelings, from even um, the feeling of satisfaction. Like, oh, I'm full now. Like, no need. It's fueling your body, and that's why we use the term fueling, because it completely breaks up that relationship that we have with food and comfort and satisfaction and feeling at ease, which is why during COVID, which is why during stressful times, people will turn to food. People will eat and eat and eat and gain the weight. Um, but you know what? What you just said kind of goes full circle with what I talked about right in the beginning, which is, we didn't talk about this beforehand. So I love how it just plays into it. But pivoting, adjusting, like you said, it just being able to take life and say, okay, I have to go this way now. I'm not stopping. I'm not turning around and going back. I'm just adjusting. I'm still moving forward in life. I'm still going. I'm just going a little bit opposite direction, because now life is going to be different for me. Life is, about fueling myself. Life is about, giving my body the proper nourishment, honoring my body, respecting my body, and as well as the mind. Now, you also talked about, you also threw in there and it's like, yo, my bank account's super happy now too. When you talk about that, you're speaking about coaching. And
Yeah.
that's the other opportunity that we offer in this program. And the reason we offer it is, well, it's twofold. Let's not mince words here or shy away from it. It's about um, an incredible opportunity for financial freedom. It's about an incredible opportunity for time flexibility. I'm not going to say time freedom. I feel that's a misnomer, because this is an entrepreneurship. You are building a business. You don't have tons and tons of time for freedom. If you want it, you will work hard for it. So it's time flexibility. You schedule, you do your business how you want, and you schedule it that way. But the financial freedom to say, I'm helping people, I'm improving lives, and I'm getting paid for it, that is incredible. But you touched more so on the fact that just being able to help one person is so impactful. Now, when we talk about coaching, we talk about helping one person, and then you go help the next person, and the next person, and the next person. And those people that you've helped now want to share that gift with 2 or 3 or 4 of their other friends. So all of a sudden, you've got, just from your one decision, Mike, you've got hundreds of people now getting healthy. You've got hundreds of people feeling that feeling of changing your life for the better. So I applaud that decision that you made to say, yeah, I'll give this coaching thing a try. It comes natural to somebody who just wants to help. So in your experience with coaching and helping people, do you feel that what is the best way for people to, I want to say, become acclimated to this program, or stay on this program? How do you, as a coach, how do you continue to inspire your clients?
Well, first of all, when it comes to helping one person, that greatly increased, because I'm the type of person that I'm not going to turn somebody away, right? Just because I don't have time. So I make room in my time, and like you said, you need to be a little bit more flexible with your time, get a little creative with your scheduling. But I wanted to be able to help as many people. If somebody reaches out, and I know that they're in a state of mind exactly where I was almost a year ago, that I want to be able to help them. As far as when people come to the program, I think sharing my story with them is motivational to get them started. But of course, there's going to be bumps in the road. We're changing everything all at once. But I always, when I'm talking to a client, my number one focus is if they are open-minded, that this program will absolutely change their life. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And if we can get them to a place where it's no longer just about food, and it's more about what kind of things that we can focus on. I actually watched one of our videos around the elements, and something that was said like resonated with me. And I talked to every single client about it, and they talked about the fact, because I thought I was broken before. I thought that there was no way. I could not figure out why I couldn't get my act together. I needed somebody to help hold me accountable so that I could start holding myself accountable. And what was said, what in this video, is that you're not broken. You're not a project that needs to be worked on. You just have a series of patterns that aren't serving you. Right. And I think when a client hears that, and they understand that this is about behavioral transformation and what we can actually put into place, because my food issues are not going to just disappear overnight. I didn't just wake up one day and decide, okay, I'm not an emotional eater anymore. Right. It's how we manage on that changes. And this program has tools. It has tools. It has an entire section just dedicated to managing your emotions so that you don't have to process with food. So making sure they understand that this is more than just eating six small portions every couple hours, right? Like six times a day. There's so much more to this, and there's so much more to our community to tap into, and the resources to help people stay on track. Right? And how do you keep this a priority in your life when you feel like everything else around you is chaos? How do you get to rein that back in? And I feel like I've been able to jump over so many hurdles, and every single time I see them jump over a hurdle, I just want to celebrate it with them. It's
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That is the best thing, is being able to celebrate with your clients, with these victories that they have. I love that.
Absolutely.
But you touched on it right in the beginning, and you were talking about something completely different than what you just said. You were talking about why you love the nutritional plan because of its structure. What you were just talking about now, when you were talking about mindset, when you were talking about how to bring things and rein it back in, again, you were talking about structure. You didn't quite say it, but I got what you were saying is when things start getting out of control, bring it back in the middle. And it's that same structure that we learn first thing with the nutritional plan, with the diet portion, is the structure.
Well, and the nice part about our diet portion is that so for someone like me that is food obsessed,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I'm absolutely a foodie. So I love to eat, but for somebody that's food obsessed, to not have to sit there and worry about balancing out their macros right away, to not have to sit there and count points, it gave me more mental space,
Yes.
right? So I didn't have to worry about that. I
Yes.
didn't have to think about food the entire day long. So that actually gave me more time to actually focus on the bigger things, which for me was around emotional eating and eating my feelings.
Absolutely. I'm glad you touched on that, because that is something that I hear from clients in the beginning that they're just amazed with. Is it is so structured, it is so easy. I don't even have to think about it. I'm able to just keep working, keep doing what I'm doing, and just grab whatever in my next fueling and keep doing it. And for people nowadays, we are always so on the go. We're always so dashing from one place to another. Taxing the kids around to sports, or when you're going from appointment to appointment in your car, or you're stuck at a computer all day. You don't have time for counting carbs. I'm sorry, counting points and macros and balancing. Here's your feelings. Just lay them out in front of you, and you got them for the rest of the day. That is the best part. That's the structure. That's the freedom that we learn. Um, so I'm glad you touched on that, because that part not only amazes people, but it works for them, and the neural pathways are starting to be set to where they're now gaining structure in their life. They're gaining simplicity, and they're saying, okay, I don't have to think about this. I got space to physically be present, but also mentally be present for what I'm doing. Not just thinking about, oh my God, I forgot to meal prep 5 meals today. What am I going to do? Right? You got your
Yep.
feelings all set out.
And,
So,
and of course, it's motivating, right? Because you don't have to put that time and energy into the planning piece, but you're still seeing results, right?
yes.
When people don't have good strong results, they end up quitting, and it's not worth it to them anymore. So there's only twice ever that I've actually seen the scale go slightly up. Every single week was a predictable loss in 47 weeks. Like
Yeah.
that's unheard of for me, especially even coming from the diet industry.
Yeah.
Like,
Predictable loss. It's just the way it
yeah,
works.
the holy grail of diets.
Yeah, right. There you go. Hey, that's why I call this show the Healthy Trinity, because it's the Holy Grail. It's
Yeah,
it's it's all encompassing. It is all there. Everything, your mind, body, prosperity, community, support, everything is there for you. It's all laid out. And then again, touching on the community part, we had a couple comments talking about. Tiffany said how accountability is so important. When we have those people where we know we can go to them and say, I'm having a tough week. And first of all, your coach, but also, people in the program at the same time. I'm having a tough week. I need some help. People are there to help. They want to see us win. And it's incredible. Like, and I had mentioned, that I had a lot of moving pieces in my life the past couple of months, and I just really needed to reset things. I had some rocks that were there for me every single day. Um, and incredibly grateful for them. People in this community, in this weight loss, in this health community that, have become literally family. So, that portion of it is something that we can't take for granted, is your support system and your community. So again, it's all encompassing when it comes to how do we level up, how do we better ourselves, how do we change our lifestyle. So that's amazing to me. Donna said she just got home. So welcome home, Donna. I'm glad you're calling. If anybody's got any questions for Mike, I would love for you to put them in the chat, and let's ask him right now. Let's put him on.
You're going to have to read them to me, Josh. One eye.
Yeah. So did you have your cataract surgery?
No, it's on July 5th. I have to go 4 weeks like this.
So I used to work, here's a little side note in case anybody wants to know a little bit about me. I used to be a surgical tech. So I worked at an outpatient surgery center, and one of the specialties was ophthalmic. So I have done tons and assisted tons and tons and tons of cataract removal surgery. So I know what you're going to go through. I know what is going to be done in getting that new lens popped in there. So good for you. Okay, we've got a question here. Stephanie says, what are you doing to celebrate your 1-year anniversary?
Well, it won't be cheesecake. It won't be cheesecake. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. So my 1 year will probably be at convention, where I plan on having the biggest celebration, because that's where my community is going to be. So my community is going to be there. I started July 5th, so I'll be seeing everybody July 20th. So I'm absolutely ready to celebrate. And it's nice. My 1 year falls right 4th of July. So like July 5th really was Freedom Day for me. I've gotten so much freedom back, and I'm back to living my life. So for me, that's reward. I don't have to celebrate that. I celebrate it every single day. There's so many non-scale victories that come along with this program. I don't want to divert, but I mean, before I started, sleeping was my life. Like, I love to sleep. I would have slept my entire life away because it was so much easier than dealing with my emotions, right? Like, I coped with sleeping. But in order to fall asleep, because my mind was racing, I needed to take a sleeping pill every day. I had a whole nighttime ritual of CBD oil, all kinds of things that I was doing to help me sleep better. And now I wake up before anybody else in my house. I'm a complete morning person now for the first time in my life. I'm getting so much done in the morning. I wake up out of bed, and instead of beating the crap out of my alarm clock, because I actually did, I throw out my last alarm clock because I beat it up.
Like those old school alarms with the bells?
Yeah, like I literally beat it up and had to get a new one. I haven't even had to set my alarm. Like it's set every day, but I beat it every single day. And
body resets itself.
I kick the covers off, and I can't wait to get the day started. And I've never been that person.
It's amazing. I've experienced that, where one day you literally wake up and you're like, oh, eyes are open, throw the covers off, and you don't hit snooze. And then you're like, okay, I'm awake. Sun's not even up yet. Let's go. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go make some coffee. I'm going to go. You're all over the place. You got so much energy because the sleep that you got was the kind of sleep that we were designed to get, restful sleep. That is when our body does the most recovering and the most work. So when we're sleeping well, our body is doing the work that it needs to do. We're processing things, we're metabolizing, we're regrowing. And it's funny, as you go to sleep, sometimes you get a good rest, you wake up and you're like, how did I lose 3 pounds in my sleep? Like, how does that even happen? Like, it's weird. But that is how much some of these habits affect us. I don't want to skip this one here. Here's a good question for you, Mike. Let's show it. Melinda says, what's next for Mike? There's a big question.
What's next for Mike? So Mike is really, really passionate about helping more clients. Like I really, really love. I don't think I'm going to be happy until I can say that I've helped 1,000 people turn their lives around.
Yeah,
I know, so I think as a society, like when we struggle with our weight, we joke it off, right? We make
yes,
jokes about it.
absolutely.
We talk about like, oh yeah, I'm eating Funyuns right now, like, and we make fun of it because we
Yep, you're
don't
eating
know
my
how to
feelings.
deal with it,
Hmm.
right? And I think that I want to get to a place where I can really make a dent in society in better understanding like how people really, really do struggle. Like it's not, we might laugh it off, but we're dying on the inside. Um, and I do think that there needs to be more support, and that's what this community is given me. So I have that support, and I also have the answer for people. So I would love to say that I've helped change 1,000 people's lives. Of course, they do the work, so I would never take credit for it. But just
Right.
that I had one small part in somebody taking their dream photo at their wedding, um, playing with their grandkids again, coming off diabetic medicines. Like there's just so much that comes out of this that's so rewarding that I can't see myself ever trading it for anything in the world.
Yep, I agree. One more thing I want to touch on when it comes to community, that why it's so important is that, you know, when we fear failure, when we fear this, it leads to shame. Shame brings on hiddenness, um, and that's why a lot of people don't want to involve themselves in this community. They don't want to live out loud of what they're doing, and so they hide this. They hide what they're doing. They hide that they're doing a new program, um, because they're fear of failing, and so they do this alone. And that's a horrific place to live when you feel that you need to do things. You can only do things on your own and alone. We're not meant to do life on our own. We're not meant to do things that we're not meant to do big things on our own. We're meant to share it with community. If you break the word down, community, you can break it down into common unity.
Yeah, and when you're doing those things alone, there's zero accountability, right?
Hmm.
Because
You
when
can hide behind it. Yeah, there's zero accountability. You didn't tell anybody. You hide behind it, and nobody knows that you failed.
Yeah, and when I used to binge and it was man versus food, I made sure nobody was around, right? So I think that layering that additional accountability, and it's not like your coach is understanding. Like I totally get what it's like. Like I can relate to almost every situation my clients are in.
Yeah,
But for me, it's just about having that other person to talk to that actually gets it, that
yeah.
understands. Like we know what it's like to fail, but one small failure or one small bump in the road doesn't define you, and it doesn't have to be the one thing that throws you off course and forces you to give up.
I absolutely love that. I love that. One little bump in the road doesn't define you. That's important for us all to remember, because you know we will lie to ourselves a lot of the times. You know, when we have one small bump in the road, we feel like, oh, that's it, done, whatever, and we lie to ourselves and think, oh, that's just, I can't do these type of meal plans. I can't do this type of structure. I just can't do it. I'm not set up for that. And we lie to ourselves. We're not our worst moments. I'm sorry, we're more than our worst moments. And we have to remember that we're also not a highlight reel either. We live every single day with these habits, with this lifestyle. So it's not just the victories of losing 5 pounds in 1 week, or reaching your goal weight for your birthday, or fitting into the dress. It's an everyday thing. But when the bumps in the road come, that's also not something that calls for us to quit. That calls for us to dig deeper into our community, to lean on people, have that accountability, and pull through. That that's how you get through things. That's life. So that's why I love how this program pushes that community so much, because we can use it in so many different ways. I had something up here, Mike, real quick, that said, Yvonne said she's known Mike for quite a few years and he is always an inspiration to others, but to see him believe in himself, wow. And I can attest to the fact that he's not a morning person. But you are now. Pete's got another one here for you. It says, other than the constant question of why he didn't start earlier so I could be at goal now, just wanted to say how thankful I am that Mike came into my life and guided and supported my own journey. Mike, this love and support you're getting from, I assume, our friends and clients of yours, this is amazing. And this is just a testament of how you've changed people's lives already. Tiffany, teamwork makes the dream work, baby. That's right, baby. It does. So, you know, these are just great moments. These are the things in life that make you just treasure, right? These important things. And this is a gift. This program is a gift that we just want to share throughout the world. So, Mike, do you have any words of wisdom, any compelling words to give somebody that is on the fence, that is just kind of checking this out, that, I don't know, maybe is looking to do something here different, that maybe needs a change, that was feeling how you were feeling, but they're on the fence? Can you give them something that's going to say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this. What do you got for them?
What I have first is, you're not alone. The struggles that you're having are real. We don't need to have to joke them away. We can address them together. You're not broken, right? Because that resonates with me. You're not broken. We just have to figure out what patterns are not serving you and focus our attention in building new patterns. And if you are open to it, this program will absolutely change every aspect of your life.
Perfect. Perfectly said. I love that. So I hope people, if you're watching, I hope you got something from that, because there's a lot of truth to what was spoken today. There's a lot of inspiration. And yeah, he hit it on the nose when he said, you're not alone. I mean, also, I want to throw in there that you're not unique. Sorry. People sometimes take exception to it, but you're not alone and you're not unique in your story. If you've gone through it, tons of people have gone through it and they've come out the other side, or they're going through it right now, or they're where you're at. So link arms and let's go together. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything that you poured into us. We appreciate you so much. We would love to have you back on the show again in the future.
Awesome.
Anybody out there, if you are now convinced that you want to try something new with your life, that you are ready for change, that you are even just curious and you want to give this a try, please reach out to me. Please reach out to Mike, any of the other wonderful coaches that we've had on this program. And we would love to talk to you and just see where you're at and how we can best help you change your life. Until next time, everybody, this is the Healthy Trinity Show. And you know what? I'm so glad I'm back. 2 months I've missed doing this, you guys, but I'm back with a heart full of inspiration, a heart full of hope, and a heart full of just wanting to help change people's lives. So we will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching, and God bless.